Okay, so this is a little bit of a circuitous path for how I got to give shiur on this tonight. Is originally we are going to start the next parak of Tehilim, and then I was like, I'm in a Thanksgiving mood. I usually do something for Thanksgiving, so I was like, what can I do that's Thanksgiving related? So I looked back at Mizmor Lasoda to see if I could get anything else out of it, and I didn't. The fish weren't biting, So I was like, oh, how about Modim, So I was like, I'll just give a shiur on Modim, So I start preparing it. And I realized that like, oh, this is going to take forever, So I was like, how about if we just read and translated Modim and then got the ideas that came from reading and translating. And so I was like, okay, I'll do that. That'll just take one session, And then I started preparing and I realized I think we're probably gonna be doing Modim for like a month now. At least we'll see where we're at after this. Because I did a trial run with Michael Russo earlier this afternoon, and we got through like 2 lines. But I've basically been thinking nonstop about Modim, not nonstop, but just very, very intensively. And then I realized, since this is the first Tefilah shiur I've given this year, I think like proper like Tefilah analysis shiur, I want to review my updated method of Tefilah analysis, which I updated today. Okay, so this is the I call this the method of Tefilah analysis because the mnemonic is Tefilah is good. Until today, there were 6 M's. Now there's 7. Okay, there's actually 2 rejected M's at the end also. Okay, but I'll explain why. Okay, 9 M's? There's 9 total. Yeah. I would really like to have 10 and then reject 3 because that'd be a nice little gesture. Okay, so sorry, it's not 6, it's 7 now. Like this changed like right before shiur. Okay, so I don't exactly know what to call this a method for. Right now, I'm calling it 7 avenues for a meaningful tefillah, because it's not 7 methods of analysis. They're not all analysis, but each avenue, like I also didn't want to say that it's a tool in the toolkit because that implies one use, like a specific use. This is more like, and I also don't want to call it 7 frameworks, so 7 avenues, okay? So they are, and I'm just going to reveal them one at a time. Okay, the first one, and they all start with M, obviously. Oh, this is not going to work. All right, I'm just going to reveal all, and that defeats the whole purpose. Okay, so we have, I'll say them all just at first. Milim, manuscripts, Mikra, Masorah, Mefarshim, mind, meaning, and then the rejected ones are mystical, and musical. Okay, but again, I'm not entirely rejecting these. There is legitimacy in these things, but let me explain. Okay, so first step is, and this is not in order except for the first one. First one is you have to translate the words, okay? So much complaining about tefillah, about, I can't relate to tefillah, like I don't have kavanah. Whenever I sit down with someone and I say, like, okay, let's translate it. What does this mean? And they're like, I know the basic idea. Well, you're not reading the words. Like the whole reason why Ezra is basically instituted a nusach. Don't say anything, Moshe. I haven't given the shiur yet.
that was the first thing I was hearing. Not say, he yelled to me.
Yeah.
When I demanded he teach me.
Oh, right. Yeah. You got to learn the words. And again, my suggestion is for those who don't know Hebrew very well, is say it in English and then slowly replace it with the Hebrew, where to the point where you can or master the Hebrew and then say it while looking at the English. I mean, I think just getting the flow, going back and forth is the best thing. Okay. So first thing is you have to do words. And unfortunately, because what do you call it? I don't know grammar very well. You really do need to know grammar in order to to like fully appreciate the text. Thankfully, we have ChatGPT now, who I can ask all my grammar questions to, and it'll explain and give examples. Okay, fine. Second one is manuscripts, which I used to subsume under Milim, and I realize now this should be its own avenue. So comparing and contrasting the different versions of Tefilah and other, what I'll call paleography, which apparently is the most accurate word for like, it looks like ancient writing, but it means studying like, old writing. I used to call this Tefilah archaeology, okay? So we now, the naive among us, not us here, but the naive among like people is there's Nusach Ashkenaz and Nusach Sfard, which some people think is fundamentally different than the Chabad or Nusach Ari, but they're the same branch. And then like Sfardim daven another thing. Some people were aware of like Yemenite stuff, but we now have access to the Cairo Geniza. We have access to like old manuscripts of different things and these like forgotten nuschos. So you really like, if you want the full view, then you have to compare manuscripts and like look at the differences between them. Okay, third is Mikra. This is what we're going to focus on today, okay, which is that almost every phrase in Tefilah either is a verbatim quotation from a pasuk or a paraphrase of a pasuk, or the language is borrowed from the pasuk. And the two like chief commentators on Tefilah among the Rishonim, the Bar Yakar and the Abudarham, that's how I'm saying it. I knew you were waiting to see. The primary.
The Reish Aleph Bet Nun. Is that his apostrophe? I don't know.
Abudarham.
No, the first one.
Oh, Bar Yakar. I don't know what you're asking. You're just saying words. Say again.
I don't know his. Never mind.
Okay, not important. Okay, all right. So what they chiefly do is they trace back the phrase in Tefilah to its origin pasuk. Okay, which we don't know. It's all theorizing. Okay, hold on just a second here. Okay, my mom called me twice. All right. Well, if she calls again, don't mind. What was I going to say? It's all theorizing, and oftentimes you actually get a machlokus in how to interpret the Tefilah or how to read the Tefilah based on which pasuk you theorize it comes from. Okay, so that's like where all the fun is. Yeah, Isaiah?
Oh, I just noticed the typo in the thing that it says Torsheh Ba'atav and not
Oh,
Torsheh.
thank you. Tav. Thank you. Okay. All right. Fourth is what I'm calling Masorah, and I'm calling it Masorah because it's not just halacha; it's the Torah Sheba'al Peh and the halachos and the agados. Okay, the halachic and non-halachic teachings. You really can't understand like the text of Tefilah. Like the text of Tefilah is not just some independent thing; it is dictated and flows with the halachos that govern it. Okay, so you have to understand what you're doing halachically when you say Tefilah. All right. The next M is the Mefarshim, is commentaries on Tefilah. There are lots of them. There's again, like I said, the old school ones who basically are just giving like clues, and then there's the ones that like spell it out word for word what the meanings are. Okay, sixth one really is I think I actually this I really should move this up here because these two I think you can access on your own. The other one is mind, which is what we do every time when we learn anything with me, which is analyze it on your own and come up with your own ideas before you start looking into the Mefarshim. Okay. And then Isaiah.
Sorry, what is the order that this is like going
So it's not
through?
really an order. The first two, I think the only one that's a true order is the words because that has to come first, but there's no real order to these next ones. Yeah, Devin.
Okay, so far as you were prior or thinking about moving mine up at
Yeah.
number 2, is that to suggest that I would have thought, as you kind of had it, of mine after you've seen some of like the other basics of manuscripts, projects, like have some like kind of facts to work with more than just the straight.
So if you're doing it in a thorough way, then that's how you would do it. But I think most of us are regularly coming into contact with Tefilah through the first two M's, and that's why I'm going to put them up here, of just making sure you understand the words and then thinking about them,
Although maybe less ideal as far as it's less thorough.
Yeah, it's less thorough. You're taking just the okay, let me hold on. Did I post the meme, the Nusach meme? Someone put no Nusach. It's a Nusach tree. Hold on a second. Meme Nusach. Oh wait, was it? I'll have to post it later. All right. Anyway, no, it's relevant to what your question was. Sure. Yeah, Isaiah.
Another M should be meme.
Yes, memes. There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I don't know where it came from. But I'll show it to you. I got it somewhere online. I want one that is more what do you call that has like some frame of time in it. But this is interesting. And I don't know if this is accurate. That's why I don't necessarily use it. But yeah. Okay. I found it in one of my Facebook groups probably. Okay. And then the last one that I endorse is meaning, which is what I call personal meanings and associations. Now, I can only give examples of this. Well, okay, let me describe it first, which is that Tefilah is a personal subjective experience as well, even though it's geared around an objective reality. But like you have your own personal responses to it. So I think you should lean into those and use it for kavana. So example for me is the berachah of Shehechianu changed ever since Pesach in 2020. And the reason why was because every year I would go home for Pesach Then in 2020, there was a pandemic, and I had to stay here. And I don't know how much you guys remember it, but in Pesach of 2020, then the death count in New York was going up by the hundreds every day. And it was still very early in the pandemic, and it was surging, And so I remember, and this is when I used to keep like a index card journal every day during COVID, and I would put the death totals on top from New York and from the world. And I remember, so this is the only time I've ever had Pesach. It was, just me and my brother and I were in my apartment, and we didn't have any other guests. And I remember sitting there making Kiddush and saying, and thinking, like how grateful I am that in the midst of all this chaos, then we're still able to do these mitzvos. And also not knowing how many people are going to be alive the next time around. So that was Pesach. Then Shavuos, I don't even remember where I was here, but I don't remember what Shavuos was like. But I do remember thinking about Shechianu. And then Sukkot was the only time I spent Sukkot here. And then Shmi Atzeres. And in each of these Kiddushes, when I said Shechianu, I was thinking about like, thank God I've made it to this point in time. And like, now when I say Shechianu, I can't not associate to that. So I think just if you have a powerful association in a tefillah, like, think about it and integrate it and consciously summon it up when you daven, because I think it could really help you. Okay, brief word on these other two things, okay? Mystical and or esoteric illusions and mechanisms. So there are many brands of this, okay? You have, for example, the Hasidic Ashkenaz, who were the Dorshe Rishumos, the people who counted every letter and the number of words and the Rosh Tevos in every bracha, and they believed that there was an authoritative one that was set, and like you had to like, if your version that you were using didn't have the right thing, you had to like make it match, okay? So that's like esoteric illusions. And then there's the various Kabbalistic, views that when you say the tefillos with these words and these letters, it actually has an effect on reality, on the universe, on the klipos, or on the sparks, or whatever, whatever they hold. Okay, the reason why I cross this out is actually not because I fundamentally disagree with those things, but I do. But the reason why I'm crossing it out is because, as the Abudarham said early on, the notion that there is a fixed set text with exact numbers of letters is historically, halachically, factually false. There is no, as I saw in your book, there's no Ur-Siddur, like the original, like, and that I'm planning to give a shiur on next time I give, my women's shiur. But like, it's just factually not true. So if your view of the power of tefillah is hinging on individual letters and numbers, it's just good luck. Like, you're just totally in your own fantasy land. In other words, even if there were mystical things happening, and even if there are illusions in the tefillos, the chances that you like that these are some sort of authentic thing and you're getting them is just zero. So that's why I reject this. And then the last one is music, which again, I'm not rejecting it because it's bad. I'm rejecting it because it's not one that I use to analyze tefillah. So you have, for example, Ashkenazic melodies. I'm sure Sephardic also, but I know Ashkenazic melodies, certain melodies are ancient, and the way we use melodies here, that we use a different melody for Shabbos and for Yom Tov, it definitely changes the way that you relate to the tefillah. A lot of people have attachments to particular songs, so I do think that this is something that can enhance the meaningful tefillah, but I don't think it is really like something that we can explore and talk about in my shiurim. So that much, at least. Yeah, Moshe?
Maybe it doesn't fall under meaning, but wouldn't historical or geographical significance matter in analysis?
I think it would, but I think it would fall under different categories. So it would affect your halachic, the halachic trajectory. It would affect the evolution of the words and the nusach. But
Okay,
and then maybe in isolated areas about like what they daven for. So for example, the vast majority of V'la Malshinim has the word, destroy all the Christians in it, and so, but whereas in the Muslim lands, I don't think they said that, and in the lands where the Christians were really powerful, I don't think they said that, so yeah, there are, I think there are geographic things, so I think they fall under these. Okay, so that's my overview of my method review. Okay, game plan for tonight is, yeah.
I'm confused about the last thing. Why did you reject?
I'm rejecting them as methods that I regularly like use for myself or for shiur. I just am not not in this world, of the. I mean, I experienced the melodies.
Clarify, I just want to clarify. Clarify what you're rejecting as what
All right, so we'll indicate it with a red. Yeah, I'll find some way to say that. I just added this on tonight, and it's still a work in progress.
Well,
Yeah, thanks for clarifying. Yeah, not the same nature of rejection. Oops, sorry. Hold on a second here. Let's do this. Okay, so tonight, we are going to attempt. Oh, sorry. No, we're not doing the manuscripts tonight. I know. Oh, actually, but I do have to show you the new feature that I posted in the chat. So on All Torah, if you go to All Torah, they have, I don't know if it's new or if I just missed the announcement. So you go into the סידור HaMeforash, okay, and only in the Amidah. So you go Chol, Shacharis, Amidah. Let's do one that we're doing right now, Modim. Okay. Oh, that's Modim D'Rabbanan. Okay, so they have right now they only have 2 complete commentaries from the Rishonim, the Abudarham and then the Bar Yakar, but they have this thing called the סידור ארבע כנפות, הארץ. Okay, and what it is it's a collection of all the nuschos from all the manuscripts arranged neatly with confusing abbreviations.
Do you know that it's every manuscript?
I don't know if it's every one, but I'm imagining that it is every one that we have access to. It seems like they go pretty deep. So what I did was I made a document that translates the introduction. So you've got here the list of the manuscripts: Italy, Aleppo version B, Eretz Yisrael, Ashkenaz, long Egyptian version from the Geniza version, China, Spain, Provence, Persia, North Africa, France, Sadia Gaon, Rav Amram Gaon. I don't know who this Rav Shlomo ben Natan is.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to. Talking about before?
I don't know. Romaniot, Rambam, and then the Taimani, and then within each of these, then there are several different versions for many of them. And the way it works is it's got this the text on the side here, and these extensive footnotes. Oops, I keep on doing that. These extensive footnotes with all these abbreviations to see all the variations. So like I was just talking with Moshe about just to show you this thing. So I was looking into V'lam Shinim. And so this line, v'chol haminim, okay, if you click on it, some say haminim, v'chol haminim kulam, v'hanotrim v'aminim kulam, v'hanotrim v'amashinim kulam, v'hanotrim v'aminim v'amashinim kulam. Every single version that they have here, so it's like, quite extensive. So if you want to research the manuscripts, that's the best way to do it. Also, shout out to Friedberg Jewish Manuscript Association. You can create a free account and see all the digitized Cairo Geniza stuff and the different versions of the Rambam. So a lot of tools available. That's all out there.
Not all the sources from the Cairo Geniza.
I don't think so. Yeah, Isaiah?
Not to derail into a detail, but wasn't Lam Shinim added like earlier than that wasn't it added for a specific case?
It was added. I mean, I'm under the impression it was added for the proto-Christians because of them. So that I think would make sense. That's why they feature prominently in there. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how old the word notary is though. Okay. So the game plan for tonight is like this. Okay. We have this we're going to do in order. Okay. Which is translate and parse Modim. Okay. So this again, if we just do this tonight, then like Dayenu, like it'll be eye-opening. Okay. If we get past that, we're going to start, I guess we can either choose to start analyzing it on our own or no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do the, I think that's going to be way too long. We're going to start looking at the Abudarham on the Mikra. Okay. And I already have a theory that is like burgeoning and developing. But I might tip my hand or I might not. Okay, we'll see. But it's an exciting theory. Okay, so let's translate Modim slowly and deliberately here. Okay, let me actually make this a little bit smaller so I can put all of the Zoom things here. Okay, so first question: how do you translate the word Modim or Modim Anachnu Lach? Let's go Modim Anachnu Lach. How do you translate that?
We thank you.
Okay, so the standard translation is we thank you. Okay, any other candidates? There are 2 more legitimate translations.
We recognize you.
Okay, the other one is we recognize you. Okay, yeah.
Admit before you.
Okay, recognize, yeah, recognize, or actually, I think if you want to combine them, I think acknowledge is like recognize and admit. Okay. And then the last one is the obscure one. Anyone know the obscure one? Bow down to you. Okay. So let me just show you. We're not going to go through all the mafarshim, but I wanted to quickly go here. Actually, hold on just a second. How do I want to do this? Oh, and then, okay, actually, let's do this. Let's translate, up until the lifey stuff. Okay. So, Modim nachnu lach, shatahu Hashem Elokeinu. Oh, yeah. So, I don't want to parse it for you. All right. Modim nachnu lach, shatahu Hashem Elokeinu v'lokeinu le'olam va'ed. Let's start there. All right. So
different breakup.
There is a different breakup in there. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
You don't want to get into that issue?
No, I do want to get into it, but I don't want to give away a side. Yeah. So how do you translate the part that we just read here?
So thank you, / acknowledge, bow down to you.
For you are God, God of our forefathers.
For you are Hashem, God, our God, and God of our forefathers. Okay. Is this the thing you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was talking about a different one, but I forgot that this is one also.
Oh, it is it, right?
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
Is it? Well, it can either be eternal. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say the word now, forever, right?
And ever.
Rock.
And ever. Yeah. Yeah. So shiur, right? So this is another one where there's two translations. Okay. And then there's a third one, which I did not know, but which we won't get to till later. So what's the common translation? Rock. Okay. Anyone know Rambam's Shita? Quarry, right? I think we brought this up recently. Okay. So it's either shiur is either a rock, like the object rock, or it's the quarry where you get your rocks from. Okay, like you harvest the rocks from the quarry. Okay. I don't remember where the Ram says this, but I heard it from Rabbi Zimmer first. Okay. What? Other than the literal translation, what's the difference? I mean, it seems to be a different idea, right? Because if you're calling God the rock, then rock is going to convey ideas about God. But then if you're going to say he's the quarry, so now you actually have a two-pronged mashal. You have what are the rocks in the mashal, and then what is the source of the rocks, which is going to also partake, chas v'shalom, of the same qualities, chas v'shalom, of the rocks. Chas v'shalom. Okay, but yeah. Okay. Well, I won't reveal the third one yet. Okay, so shiur chayinu. Yes, it is. Okay, but it's a weird, it does not mean stronghold. Okay, I'll say stronghold. Okay, but in other words, I don't think the word shiur ever means stronghold. I haven't done an exhaustive search. Are you guessing that? You got that from somewhere?
I have a weird memory.
Okay, yeah. So that's actually I actually needed this term. You'll see why later. Okay, so shiur chayinu. Of our lives. Magen yishenu.
Shield of our salvation.
Shield of our salvation. Okay, now what do you do next? Yes, this is machlokas.
This is it.
Yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. Yeah. So what's the machlokas here?
Either period here.
No, I thought who period or the.
Okay, so one approach is to do period here, and I'm going to start with this one because this is the most common way that people say it. Okay, and then atahu lador vador.
You are for eternity.
Oh, so sorry. Hold on a second. No, sorry.
No.
No. Sorry. I got thrown off. Yeah, you are.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then,
You could have period.
so you can go like this. You could say from generation to generation, period. Okay. And then no delacha. How do you translate that?
We
Thank you.
will.
Okay. We will thank you. Okay. We will thank or acknowledge or bow to you. Okay. Unusapriti lasacha.
And recount your praises.
Recount. Yeah, relate's good also. Recount. I like saying recount because mispar is number. Yeah.
For Ashrei, they have.
Yeah. Your praise.
Or is it your praises?
Praises.
Yeah.
How do you say
For the lives that
Tehilah.
are
Starting
not
our lives.
How do you say? Oh, Tehilah. Yeah, right. Al Chayinu. Yeah, actually, let's stop here. Okay, right. So here we have two versions. Okay. And I'm just going to read this in these commentaries that I pulled here. Okay. So you have this is from the Iyun Tefilah that's in the Otzar Tefilos. Modim Menachem. So Kasav Harav David Abudarham b'Shem Ibn Hayarchi, who is the Ibn Hayarchi. I just looked this up. I mean, he's the Sefer Manhig, but I did see. I just looked it up. Okay, Avram ben Natan from Provence, 12th, 13th century. So he says, "Modi menachem." Oh no, sorry. I'm reading the wrong thing. I skipped ahead of myself. In the Israeliyahu. Oh no,
Yeah.
don't look at the translation. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, let's just move this up here. Okay, so the Israeliyahu says hapisuk. So atahu ladovador hapisuk al Sidur. Okay, so I was looking this up. Shabtai Sofer. When you see this, you think, oh, this is confusing. I'm going to look up it in English, right? Do anyone know where that is? Yeah, so I don't know what it is, but then you look it up and watch this. This is hilarious. Shabtai Sofer from there. PRZEMYSL. Oh, that's much easier to understand what that is. Yeah. Okay, so that person is in his sitter Api Abudarham. Abraham ben Hagra. I think his son was Abraham. Well, Pirush read Bar Yakar b'Sidur harokeach ledor v'dor no delacha. Okay, so and I want to actually get this here also. So let me just expand on this here. So the Iyun Tefilah says, Atahu ledor v'dor hu sofa mamar, period. Makbil lamamar she'atahu Hashem Elokeinu le'olam va'ed. So in other words, if you read it this way, then you're saying Atahu Atahu ledor v'dor. You are shield of salvation from generation to generation, and you're acknowledging Makbil Mamar Atahu Hashem Elokeinu. It corresponds to the same that you are Hashem our God forever. So I guess we're saying forever and corresponding to the generation to generation. Okay, the Yesh Omrim, but some say ki ledor v'dor nimshach l'masha achrav. Some say that it goes on what's after it. Ledor v'dor nodel l'cha n'sabri dilasacha al shem hakasuv nodel l'cha l'olam ledor v'dor n'sabri dilasacha. So this is what I meant when I said it depends on where you think the pasuk comes from, because this pasuk has dor v'dor followed by n'sabri dilasacha. So if you hold that it comes from there, then that's where you're going to put the period. Okay, so but does anyone have I don't know where I got this idea, but in yeshiva, we do let me just type this out so we can talk about it here. Hold on a second here. So we have we'll call this one version A, shield of salvation you are from generation to generation, versus shield of our salvation you are, and then period. From generation to generation, we will acknowledge. Okay, so in yeshiva, we do version B. Okay. Yeah, we do version B. Yeah. So I always had a hunch for why we do version B, but I never really asked, and I don't know if there's a source. Anyone else have a hunch why we do it that's not based on the pasuk? Yeah.
The Dover Nagi Delacha.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so let me be more specific in my question. Is I have a hunch that we hold that that version A is problematic or could potentially be problematic.
No, thinking this, no, I don't think so.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
That's necessarily true that every generation will be.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. So Chaim's saying it's not necessarily true that every generation, is doing this. Yeah, I was thinking something more problematic. So in my head, I got it that that when you say that God is from generation to generation, you're implying that God is in time. And I think the reason why I'm thinking this is because I know in yeshiva we are makpid to break up sentences in ways that don't imply that in other areas, like in the Yom Noraim davening. We say v'atahu period ushnosecha lo itamu. So I do know that we're mocking on that, but I don't actually know if that's the reason why. But that's how I've thought about it all this time until like this week. Yeah, Chaim? Oh, that's a good question. Maybe that's what that comment was referring to. Ed. That Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's also a question about. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually I did make a comparison chart, which I just didn't print out this time. So let's see here.
Wouldn't that be the same problem if it comes out?
Well, L'olam Va'ed is something that would be appropriate, I think, for Hashem, right?
Why, I'm asking why is that appropriate and not appropriate?
I mean, strictly speaking, you're right that nothing we say about God is fully appropriate. But I feel like yeah, no, because L'olam Va'ed can be eternal, which means outside of time. Whereas L'dor V'dor is having a unit of time. If you said like each and every, Hashem is with us from year to year, that kind of implies that he's in time. Okay, so we have 3 versions here: Art Scroll, Koren, and Ala Torah. So Rabbi Nassim Sherman, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, and then Iman Novetsky. We gratefully thank you for it is you who are Hashem, our God, and God of our forefathers for all eternity. And then Koren is, we give thanks to you for you are the Lord, our God, and God of our ancestors forever and all time. And Ne'ima, I think, goes with the other one. We acknowledge to you that you are master, God controller of all, who watches over us. So she's clearly having a shita here. Yeah. I thought the same thing. I don't think she means that, but I think she means like the God who controls. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a strange thing. Watches over us and God of our fathers forever. So it seems like she's taking the L'olam Va'ed as qualifying. We acknowledge you. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Anyway, back to our translations. Yeah. Oh, I skipped over a source I wanted to read. So the Iyun Tefilah says this about Modim. Kasaf harav David Abudarham b'shem Ibn Yarchi, Modim anachnu lach, mishtachavim anachnu lach. So Modim means mishtachavim, means to prostrate yourself. As it says in Shmuel Beis, hishtachavesi metargaminan modina. Okay, so there's an Aramaic. This is not the usual Aramaic for hishtachava, because I think skid, right? Like Tokyo Drift, like you skid, yeah. But no, it's Samach Gimel Dalet is the usual one for mishtachavim. So I don't know exactly what this variant is, but he says about pshuto k'mashmao maskimin anachnu lekusacha ulahan hagosacha ulahan hagascha es haolam. So he says what it means is we consent, we agree. We affirm your divinity and your governance of the world, umakavlim osacha be'eloah, and we accept you as God. Okay, milashon hamishna modim chachamim Rabbi Meir, or elu ve'elu modim shiachloku, or hakol modim beven sora more. Okay, so it's rabbinic Hebrew. Okay, meaning we admit or we acknowledge. Uvarashi in Sukkah mem he'amud beis divramaskil ulcha ashanu modim bo v'lo kofrin. So modim is the opposite of kofrin. Okay, so if someone makes a claim against you, you can either admit to it or deny it. Okay. V'hu milashon modeh be'eruv. I don't know what that halacha is or what that case is. Ava modim anachnu lach pirusho mahalilim anachnu oscha or anachnu nosnim l'cha toda al kol hatov shegamalanu. So the meaning is we praise you. Or we, because you like Hoda can also mean praise, or it means we give you thanks for all the good that you've bestowed on us. So those of you who have been in my Tehilim for a while know that the way I like to translate it is I'm gonna just put this in parentheses here. Is we gratefully acknowledge you. Okay, because I think gratefully acknowledge you has the gratitude meaning and the modeh meaning. And I think that's like the best translation. Okay, but now we run into another problem, which is, you picked up on this, Moshe, which is, but I think a lot of people don't really notice this. We say modim anachnu lach, and then we say nodeh lecha. Okay, and on the surface, you could translate both of those the same way, like we thank you, you know? So what is the difference? How would you explain the difference between these two, or how would you translate them differently? Okay, yeah, I also had to like think about it and like ask people, what would you say? We're all ignorant, ignorant of full grammar here.
Sometimes it is masculine and feminine, but this isn't.
This is not,
It's
yeah.
not that.
Yeah, Isaiah?
This is more. So I'm not sure. I was just wondering if Modim could mean like we're like people who are thankful.
Ah, yes. Okay, good. So that is one interpretation. So I asked this on 2 places on Facebook. The place where I go for all of my grammar questions is the group God Save Us from Your Prescriptivism. Prescriptivism is pronounced Ion. That's the name of the group. And Ion. Yeah, no, that's okay. All right. So 2 people, I don't know who these people are, but they gave theories. So this Eliana Rosa Mastrangelo says, I think there's something to be said for thinking of Modim as a participle, more like an adjective that describes us. We are grateful or are cognizant. I'm not sure that quite strikes the right tone as a translation. And noda as more of a future present verb, an action that we are doing, we thank or we recognize. Okay, so I like that. And then this Ellie Meyer says, given the verb forms, Modim should either mean we are grateful / thankful, participle. I had to look at what a participle is, by the way. Okay, so the term I came up with is an adjectivized verb. Okay, so for example, if you said the running water, okay, or the burnt toast, okay, so burnt is a verb, right? Like he burnt the toast, but you're using it burnt toast as an adjective. Okay, that's one type of participle. And there is another one also. You could say she is running errands. So the verb in that sentence is, but running is like some other construct where it allows you to talk about, and that's why I lose my grammar knowledge. Okay, but anyway, we'll get it from the examples. Given the verb forms, Modim should either mean we are grateful or thankful participle, or we thank you, using the participle in place of a present tense verb. This is the types of people who hang out in these grammar groups. The form of nodalcha is future tense / imperfect. So I understand it as a pledge to Hashem. We will continue to thank you and express our gratitude to you. That future-oriented verb makes a lot of sense if we parse the sentence as l'dor v'dor nodelecha. Okay, which I think is a nice little like it's a cume in that translation, because it's talking about from generation to generation we will continue to do this. It's like an ongoing thing. Or if we read on to the end of the sentence and use that to modify the verb nodelecha erev boker v'tzarayin. One read emphasizes that it's forever, from generation to generation. The other emphasizes that it's constant, every day, multiple times a day. Okay, so what I would propose is like this: Modim nachnu lach either means, I'm going to just use thank as an example. We thank you, okay? Or like if you want to say literally, we are people who thank you. Okay, I don't know how to say it eloquently, right? Who thank you. Whereas no delecha is, you could also say we thank you with the understanding that it's imperfect, meaning that it's open-ended, or we will thank you. Okay, so I think that's a subtle distinction that I overlooked until just now. Okay, and I think it also just I don't know if tomorrow if this is where you're getting it from, but like modim anachnu lach does feel like we are the ones who are modim to you. Like we use the word we, in the actual thing, like to emphasize it. So that's how it feels like that. Yeah, Lauren.
Is there any significance to the fact that we're also bowing down when we say Modim?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's what I was thinking, because bowing seems to emphasize that we are the people that are doing this
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I would accept that as a possibility, right? Or possibly we use this form because we're bowing, right? So you would not, if you said no delecha and you're bowing, that doesn't make any sense. Meaning you're not describing your own actions, but you say we bow to you, then I think that's good. That is a good call. Okay. Also, just to point out, I did not look into this, but someone pointed out that they should have this here, that in Birkas Hamazon, we reverse them. We reverse them, but we say the opposite way. Can anyone quote it from? Yeah, right. Allah Nachman Lach, right? Let's just look at it here. Birkas. Where's it going to be? Oh, these sections are not available yet. All right, fine. Anyway, yeah, right. Noted we start off with a Modim lach we say later on. So if you can think about that, then that if you could figure out that, that'd be fine. It'd be good. Okay. Anyway, so we thank, we acknowledge, we bow to you and recount your praises. Al chaynu hamsurim biyadacha.
On account of our lives,
Why do you say on account of?
because al is like about, or you could say about our lives, maybe it's simpler.
Okay. How would you say for our lives?
Could be for our lives.
Yeah, it could be for, right? So I think for
Yeah.
our lives, right? I think is probably
Yeah,
better, right?
yeah.
For our, I just wasn't sure if I was missing some sort of like ha, but
No,
yeah.
no, no.
Okay, for our lives, hamasurim biyadacha.
That are
Entrusted or?
No,
Oh.
can't say trusted because that's gonna be kudos.
Yeah.
Transmitted.
Yeah, right. So it's weird, right? Our lives that are, I guess, given over, right? Or like, yeah, transmitted. Transmitted, I don't like just because it sounds like information, you know. They're given over into, I think, into your hand, okay? Or yeah, your hands. Ve'al nishmosenu hapkudos. Now you can say it.
Entrusted.
Yeah, and for our souls that are entrusted to you. Okay, now here's another one. Val nisaha. Or your what?
Miracles and then wonders.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, wonders later on, but there's another translation for nisaha.
Yes.
So I have seen that.
It's not.
I have seen that. I have seen that in I think it's in the Bar Yakar actually.
Wow.
Let me just actually check that to confirm it. I should not have clicked out of the oops. Yeah, grammatically, I don't know exactly how that works out, right? Seems
Nisyonos.
funky. Yeah, Nisyonos, right? But let's see, the Bar Yakar says,
Does anyone say
yeah, he says, Al Nisakash B'chol Yom Imanu, Al Shem Baruch Hashem Yom Yom Uksiv. Okay, Nasata. Okay, so there's two meanings.
like a full
Okay, yeah. So the one that people don't know about is Nasata lirecha nes lihis noses. You've given, I would translate it as a banner. Yeah, as a banner to like rally around. Say again? Right. Yeah. Yeah, correct. Yeah, banner. And then yesh mefarshim also lashon nisayon. Okay, right? So this could either be for your miracles, your banners, or your trials, right? Or tests. Yeah, okay, right? Shebechol yom imanu. Oh, sorry, yeah, Isaiah.
If the word means nace here, like banner, or yeah, would you pronounce it differently than nisecha?
Apparently not.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone comment on it who brought down that pasuk. Yeah. Were you gonna say something, Chaim? Okay, so Shebechol yom imanu.
that?
It's awkward.
Wait. That in.
Yeah, I also say that are with us every day, right? Which sounds weird. Like if I said, you know, if I threw a tile, those magnet tiles with all the words, and at you and said, miracles every day, God, thank you. Probably put together a sentence that says something like, on the miracles you do for us every day, right? Not your miracles that are with us every day. It kind of makes you imagine like the miracles are like invisible friends hanging out around you, you know? Yes, it makes more sense with banners. And then the only question is, what are the banners? But yeah, right. Okay. And then what's the big support for miracle is the next sentence, right? Al niflosecha,
For your wonders.
for your wonders, v'tovosecha.
And your goods.
Yeah, right. So there's no smooth English way to say it without sounding weird. Literally goodnesses, or you could say like acts of beneficence. Okay. I don't think you can say beneficencies, and
No.
benefits sounds weird, you know. Okay. Shebechol ace. Oh, sorry. Yeah, shebechol ace.
That occur or that are.
Yeah. Okay. That I'll say occur or are at all times. Erev Thanksgiving.
And after.
Yeah, evening. I'm just going to put this like this: evening, morning, and afternoon. Okay. Hatov kilo chalu rachamacha v'hamarachim kilo samu chasadecha.
The good one.
Yeah, the good one.
or your mercy has
Never-
not been exhausted.
Oh, ooh, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
It's really like not been completed.
Yeah, your mercies have not been exhausted. I think it's the same thing because I automatically associate Tefilah,
Yeah,
Hashemayim v'Aaretz, but that's like completed.
yeah,
But that sounds weird. Your mercies have not been completed. Your mercies have not been.
yeah, that might be why.
What do you say,
I
Moshe?
think Artsville uses
Exhausted?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's different.
overcome.
Depleted maybe would also be good. Yeah. V'hamarachim.
Spent. Maybe.
Sorry, what was that, Vanessa?
Spent. I'm just throwing another
Did you say
translation.
end?
Spent, like
Spent.
you're-
Interesting. That does ring a bell about is there an example of that? I don't know. We'll experiment with it. Okay. And v'hamarachim, the merciful one, kilo tamu chasadecha.
Or your finances have not been completed.
For your kindnesses have not you say been completed? Yeah, I guess that's good, right?
I think Artsville does see this. That doesn't cease.
Yeah, have not ceased.
That could be also.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like have not ceased. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now here's another one, which I don't know if you knew that this was an ambiguity. How do you parse the next part? This section here. How do you go from there to there? What punctuation do you use?
Because forever we always hope in you.
Because forever we always hope in you?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Or just another 4.
So one way to do it is, oops, sorry, is that Me'olam is part of the previous thing, and the Kivinu Lach is its own statement. And then the other way to do it, which I think is the common way, is Me'olam Kivinu Lach, right? So either it is for your kindnesses have let me put this here. Either it is weird font. Okay, okay, for your kindnesses have never ceased. Okay. And then a separate statement, we hope in you. Okay. And then the other way to do it is have not ceased. We have hoped in you forever. Okay. So I think those are two things in the Mefarshim here. Okay. Yeah. It still feels like it's thrown in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and say, we have hoped in you forever. Okay. Home stretch. The al kulam. Yeah. I'm going to say and for all, because we say we thank you for, not we thank you on. What?
It's a lot of for.
Yeah. And for all, or for all, I think kulam is all of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which sounds weird. I don't know why, but it sounds weird. Kulam yisbarach v'yisramam shimcha malkeinu tamid l'laved.
His name is blessed or shall be blessed.
Yeah, your name, right? Your name.
Will be blessed.
Yeah.
Oh, your name, yeah, will be blessed and exalted.
Will be blessed and exalted. Malkeinu, our king, Tamid, constantly, Lelam Ved, forever and ever. V'chol hachayim, yoducha sela.
And all the living.
And all the living, yoducha,
will gratefully
acknowledge you. Sela.
Forever.
Okay. Yeah. So let's just go over it without looking up in Ezra this time, even though I always say that. Sela is either forever, or it is a musical notation
The musical covenant.
of like lifting your voices, or it is like amen, saying it is true. Okay,
Is
so
that why you want to do the musical analysis?
no. Oh, I should have mentioned that though. That actually is true. Is that there was a Masorah, not a Masorah. There was a tradition of music with specific notations and instruments and stuff like that. That we just don't know what it is anymore. You know. So that's that. Okay. Yeah. Sela v'halulu es shimcha be'emes.
and they'll praise your name in truth.
Yeah, and they will praise your name in truth.
In the truth.
I don't know.
Venice?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah, Vanessa?
Sorry, are you able to post a text in a chat? My Sidor has like minor differences. My Hebrew is
Oh,
not
sure.
good enough to like deal with
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
See, this is why, by the way, I was gonna try to attempt to do all the new scholars and stuff this time. And I'm like, no, we're just gonna do translation. Okay. And praise name and truth. Hakel Yeshua Seinu Ve'ezra Seinu Salah.
The God of
The powerful God, God of power.
Yeah. Okay. The God. Yeah. Or the God power, as I was going to say. No. Yeah. We'll just say the God for now, but we'll when we interpret it, we'll say the God Yeshua Seinu.
Of our salvation.
I think it's of our salvation. Yeah. Ezra Seinu.
And our
helping.
Helping. Yeah. Our assistants. Let's say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Selah. All right. Baruch Hashem. You Hashem are the source of blessing. Hatov Shimcha. Ulachana Ilahodos.
Your name is the good.
Yeah. The good. I'll say the good. We'll go stick with what we said. The good one is your name. Ulacha na Ilahodos.
And to you, it is fitting to
Gratefully acknowledge.
acknowledge.
Yeah. Okay. Woo. All right. So there we have our translation. Okay. Wow. I'm so glad I did not. You notice I compiled a 17-page source sheet today. What kind of idiot am I? Thinking that we are going to get through more of this. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So let's just, instead of going on the game plan of going into the Mikra, what are the observations or questions that you have here? You just get the juices flowing here. Yeah, Moshe?
There's nothing specific that we thank God for.
Yeah. Okay. So there's well, not, you mean, okay, I mean specific goods. It's
that occurs in our lives.
right. I mean, there's a lot of thanks for our lives, and then I guess the miracles are the most specific thing, miracles and wonders, right?
Right.
Yeah. It is funny, by the way. I just want to call your attention to this, which is I just never thought about this until I read it in an essay. I think there's a Rabbi Berkowitz essay in Modim D'Rabbanan. We say Modim Nachnu Lach, and I know Modim D'Rabbanan is a merger of lots of different Modims. Modim Nachnu Lach, Sha'ato Hashem Elokeinu, and then at the end, Al Sha'anu Modim Lach. So we thank God for our thanking of God, for our ability to thank God, which is an interesting thing, or not our ability to, but for the fact that we thank God. So yeah, so I keep clicking on that. Okay, anyway, so that's not exactly what Moshe said, but I was just reminded of that because it's not, usually you think of thank yous as having specific content, and we don't put in specific content. And furthermore, it is always weird that I was just reviewing the halachas about adding bakashos into this one esrei, and it always feels weird to me that we can't, there's no natural slot where you can add in your own personal hoda'ah to God. Isn't that what? Yeah, but still is weird to me. Oh, is that why we don't have? That's interesting. Yeah. So Chaim's saying that that he thinks the reason why we don't have a slot to put in thanks is because then it would be infinite. But I could say the same thing about Shevach. Oh, you did say that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, because I think we do. Okay, well, all right. This gets into an issue that I don't want to give shiur on yet. Is the limits of of changing Tefilah. But yeah, Isaiah.
Yeah, I feel like in certain parts there's like a theme of like how complete God's praise is, but like it can seem like practically that it is that people really do, like, let's say that God is like constantly praised forever and ever. Like people don't actually constantly praise God forever.
Right.
So,
David?
how we understand that?
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of things about the past, and I mean related to what Isaiah was saying, which I think is very odd insofar as, so if God does in the past and we're going to say Modim, if he hadn't done in the past and we're not going to be saying Modim.
Okay, so
it seems like this is a reaction to a practicality that has happened.
Okay, I mean, just to be nitpicky here, isn't all thanks going to have to be about the past?
If we're putting Modim as thanks.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, if it's thanks, right. Oh, so you're saying if
It's
it's
like an acknowledgement of.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'm going to first write down Moshe's question, but I'm going to convert it into a broader question, which is what exactly are we thanking God for? Okay, like what is Modim? What is Modim about? Okay, yeah, and then David's question is why so much emphasis on the past if Modim? You want doing that? Modim means to acknowledge. Yeah. I also want to just point out one more thing, and then we'll wrap it up. Which is only when I was going through this did I realize that the theme of Shem Hashem sneaks into the end, right? You don't talk about it for the entire first part, and then you've got Val Kolam Yisparach Yisram Shimcha Malkeinu Tamil Ed B'chol Hachaim Yoducha Sala B'Halu Es Shimcha Be'emes Hakel Yishur Sala Brukta Hashem. And then the whole chasima becomes about Hatov Shimcha, your name is good, So I thought that that's just a little weird, Yeah, when's the first time we say Hatov? After Hatov Kilu Chalu Rachamecha, right. Yeah, I guess that's the first time we indirectly reference Hatov.
Yeah.
Or I mean the shame. Yeah.
If I could say one manuscript comment about Hatov.
Quickly, yeah.
Right before Baruch, he says Ki Tov Hakel Hatov.
Yes, right. Yeah. That's good. All right. So let's plan to do this for the indefinite future and ditch our plans to do Tehilim 65. Okay. And next time what we'll try to do is go through the other nuschos, not all of them, but some of the main ones, and then start looking at Abudarham on the origins of the phrases in the Mikra. Okay, and that's when I'll reveal my grand theory of Modim. Yeah, that you can think about for now.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Bye.
Thank you.